Welcome to The Explainer. Let's unpack 2026's wildest paradox, our hardcore data obsession versus our deep craving for escapism.
Seriously, how are we coping with 2026's lightning-fast tick changes? Let's find out.
Today, we're hitting three things: corporate AI, the wild world of subjective finance, and best-selling escapism. Starting with PR, 60% of teams say this shifting media landscape is literally their biggest hurdle.
It's creating a massive agility gap. A third of execs feel agile, but just 14% of employees agree.
To cope, an insane 91% of PR pros now use generative AI for brainstorming and writing.
It's not just PR, though. Finance is adapting fast, using AI as a strategic enabler for risk management.
But finding objective truth is still tough. Take WACC, the weighted average cost of capital. Pros actually face immense anxiety here. They often rely on historical biases instead of finding true fair value. Big mistake? Using bank loan rates. That reflects credit risk, not the actual business risk. The goal is finding what a totally unrelated third party would invest at, using tools like WACC Finder. While corporations chase objective truth, culturally, we're doing the opposite. We're sprinting toward alternate realities.
Just look at Goodreads' top 2026 books. There's a massive, undeniable trend toward thrillers about hidden secrets.
Take Yesteryear. A modern influencer literally wakes up trapped in the brutal reality of 1805.
Or Anatomy of an Alibi. We are absolutely obsessed with hiding from the truth right now.
With 59% of readers craving this escapism, how do we balance data with this profound human need?
The answer is convergence. Blending real human storytelling with AI automation will absolutely define the next era. So, in your 2026 strategy, are you just relying on raw data or mastering the human narrative? Hey there! Today, we're diving into the intense, data-driven workplace and how we're escaping it through wild, popular fiction. We'll be breezing through industry trends, tackling the dreaded data dilemma, and finishing up with some top escapist books. Get this, a staggering 91% of PR pros are already using generative AI workflows. Crazy, right? They're mostly using it for idea generation and writing, just trying to survive today's wildly fast-paced media landscape. Finance is feeling the heat too. They're pushing for agile, cross-functional teams to quickly tackle super complex business challenges.
But here's the catch. While executives swear they're extremely agile, the actual employees on the ground, they totally disagree.
So why the gap? Well, bulky team structures and painfully slow approvals are actively holding back those ambitious professionals.
It's a massive headache. Professionals are literally drowning under tight resource pressures and highly subjective, stressful reporting metrics.
There's a huge disconnect in PR. Execs are demanding hard revenue numbers, totally brushing off traditional brand-building efforts. Finance is definitely feeling it too. Calculating the weighted average cost of capital relies on some highly subjective historical guesswork. Auditors see this all the time. Companies often just guess their inputs instead of finding a proper third-party rate. The crucial difference? Loan rates only reflect credit risk. WACC actually has to capture the much higher business risk. So with all this rigid, data-heavy pressure, how on earth are stressed professionals unwinding in 2026? Well, the Goodreads top books list reveals a massive, undeniable cultural shift toward wild, totally unpredictable thrillers. We are basically trading our rigid, data-driven reality for escapist novels packed with dark mysteries and alternate realities. Take Dear Debbie, for example. An ignored advice columnist literally takes brutal, unapologetic justice into her own hands. Or check out My Husband's Wife, where an artist comes home to find a stranger totally claiming her life. Then there's the crazy ticking clock tension in Yesteryear, which perfectly blends traditional aesthetics with some genuinely shocking survival tactics.
It throws an internet-famous modern housewife right into the brutal reality of 1805. Talk about a fascinating cultural pivot.
So why does this matter? Because despite AI, 59% of pros say human storytelling remains our most valuable skill. Ultimately, as metrics get stricter, will automated data ever really replace our fundamental need for a truly compelling narrative?
Let's dive right into this explainer and decode the crazy paradox defining our lives in 2026. Ever feel your day is split between ruthless professional efficiency and a desperate craving for evening escapism? Here's the roadmap: corporate finance, PR, and popular fiction. Let's see how they paint a unified picture. Pillar 1. We're starting with a hyper-analytical, yet surprisingly subjective world of corporate finance and business strategy. Valuing a business using the weighted average cost of capital, or WACC, is frustratingly subjective and highly stressful. Common errors: relying on historical guesswork or using internal parent company loan rates instead of actual third-party market data. To fix this, finance pros are bringing AI, sustainability, and agile operations right into their daily frameworks. Move into Pillar 2. Let's see how this plays out in PR, where AI is totally reshaping workflows. Get this. A staggering 91% of PR pros now use generative AI for ideation and content refinement. But there's a huge disconnect. Executives want hard financial ROI, while frontline teams are super focused on brand awareness. This creates a major agility gap. Big structural barriers, huge teams, and painfully slow approvals hold everyone back. Yet, despite all this AI automation, the absolute most in-demand PR skill is still raw human storytelling. Which perfectly bridges to our final pillar: how we actually consume culture and literature when we finally log off. The hottest Goodreads books of 2026 reveal a deep societal craving for intense, low-tech human drama and escapism. Take Yesteryear, a hit novel where a curated digital influencer gets thrown into a brutal 1805 reality. Or Dear Debbie, a crazy thriller where a frustrated advice columnist gets violent payback against people around her. The contrast is wild. Our workdays are ruled by AI and metrics, while our fiction stays deeply emotional. Looking at 2026, we gotta ask, in an increasingly automated world, is raw human storytelling our most valuable asset? Welcome to our latest explainer. Today, we're unpacking the defining paradox of 2026, machine versus human. AI algorithms run our workflows now, right? But how do we balance cold data with our craving for humanity? Well, looking at finance in 2026, it's totally dominated by ecosystems, sustainability, agile structures, and AI enablers. Yet, even with all that automation, finding accurate ROI and subjective costs of capital, still incredibly frustrating. A huge trap is just swapping complex business risks for simple loan interest rates. It totally ruins valuations. It's not just finance, though. Over in PR, 60% say a rapidly shifting media landscape is their biggest hurdle. To survive these crazy shifts, a staggering 91% of PR pros now rely heavily on generative AI workflows. That reliance goes deep. 73% use it just to brainstorm ideas, and 68% use it for writing. But here's the real paradox. Amidst all this automation, the most in-demand PR skill is totally human: storytelling. Seriously, whether you're explaining a corporate valuation or selling a brand, human narratives are our most vital currency. So after a hyper-optimized day driven by AI and data, where are we escaping to at night? We dive headfirst into messy, totally unpredictable, and highly emotional fiction thrillers just to break away. Take the top book of 2026, Dear Debbie. It's a subversive thriller about an advice columnist dealing brutal justice. Or Yesteryear, where a pristine traditional lifestyle influencer wakes up trapped in the brutal reality of 1805. You see, these hits revel in what AI lacks: messy choices, female-led thrills, and deeply visceral emotions. So, our lives are completely split. It's the relentless optimization of work versus the unfiltered escapism of downtime. The big takeaway here? Technology and algorithms might run the systems, but stories actually connect us humans. Which leaves us with this. As you optimize your own life, are you leaving room for the unpredictable? What do AI algorithms, complex financial valuations, and twisty thriller novels all have in common? Let's dive in. In 2026, we're basically balancing extreme data complexity with a massive human craving for storytelling. Looking at finance, this tension is heavily driven by digital ecosystems and AI enablers. But despite advanced tech, professionals still get totally stressed calculating subjective things like the weighted average cost of capital. Seriously, look at this formula. These highly subjective variables cause some major financial reporting headaches. The crucial point here? Avoid errors. Never use loan interest or parent company rates for business risk. Luckily, blueprints like WackaFinder save serious time, so auditors can confidently bypass those subjective traps. This tech shift hits PR too. Check out this staggering 91% generative AI adoption rate. PR teams are mainly using AI to brainstorm ideas and refine content amidst crazy media fragmentation. There's a fascinating gap, though. Executives push for ROI, while frontline teams really anchor on brand awareness. Plus, thanks to slow approvals, a measly 14% of PR folks feel their org is truly agile. But ironically, good old human storytelling is still the absolute most in-demand PR skill right now. Culturally, all this AI saturation sparks a reaction. Data-heavy days totally fuel our nighttime craving for dramatic escapism. For example, Frida McFadden's Dear Debbie perfectly captures this huge obsession with subversive, twisty thrillers. Or take Yesteryear. We love seeing a modern influencer suddenly trapped in the harsh reality of 1805. Even nonfiction leans in. Belle Burden's Strangers perfectly captures the deeply human drama of unexpected heartbreak. So, as this explainer wraps up, how are you balancing AI with your own human storytelling today? Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a crazy paradox that's totally defining 2026. So, what actually connects corporate finance, totally stressed out PR teams, and those gripping fictional thrillers? Financial Management Magazine shows 2026 is absolutely dominated by data, digital ecosystems, and AI, right? But here's the kicker. All this perfect data is actually forcing us right back to human instinct. Look at accounting. Auditors are super stressed out calculating the weighted average cost of capital, or WACC. Because even with advanced AI, finding true fair value still relies entirely on our subjective human judgment. Yeah, only a human can decide if a banker's rate or past data reflects true business risk. Meanwhile, in PR, we're seeing this massive 91% adoption of generative AI workflows. Yet Cision found 60% of those teams still struggle with the crazy fragmented media landscape. Plus, there's this huge disconnect. Executives demand ROI, while the frontline teams heavily prioritize brand awareness. So despite the AI, 59% of PR pros say human storytelling is still their top skill. And this intense craving for narrative totally dominates our culture too. Just look at Goodreads. These bestsellers aren't about algorithms. They explore deep human themes like betrayal, desire, and gritty survival. So the winning strategy? Let AI handle the data, but absolutely let humans drive the real story. Leaving us with this. In an age where AI writes the reports, how will you tell yours?
Welcome to This Explainer. 2026 is moving insanely fast. Let's explore how we're working and unwinding this year.
So, what really defines 2026? How are we surviving the office tech boom and escaping it at home?
Okay, let's dive into this. We're taking a quick tour through corporate finance, PR, and pop culture. In finance, success now means extreme agility. You absolutely have to leverage AI and digital ecosystems for efficiency.
And this perfectly captures that intense, frustrating stress of manually calculating the weighted average cost of capital.
Guessing a random 3% rate or using bank loan rates? Yeah, that'll instantly fail a strict auditor's review.
That's exactly why pros use Wakefinder. It completely replaces subjective guesswork with defensible, rock-solid data.
Now, what's really wild is this massive 91% AI adoption rate across the entire PR landscape. PR teams are heavily leaning on AI for idea generation and writing just to survive those crazy resource pressures.
But look at this widening gap. XX demand measurable revenue ROI, while frontline teams are still chasing brand awareness.
Yet, despite the tech explosion, 59% of PR pros say the most in-demand skill is actually genuine human storytelling.
Let's shift gears to 2026 culture. How does corporate storytelling give way to unwinding with literal storytelling?
The absolute top books this year? Gripping thrillers about identity, deception, and desperately escaping modern pressures.
It's time for payback against all the people who deserve it the most. I mean, talk about ultimate escapism.
Then there's Yesteryear. It literally proves our complete exhaustion with curated digital lives is bleeding right into fiction.
So the crucial point? 2026 is all about balancing that hardcore tech efficiency with a massive craving for humanity.
Which leaves us wondering, how are you balancing this rapid technological change with your own human needs today?
Welcome to The Explainer. Let's dive straight into the absolute fatal flaw in today's corporate AI talent strategy.
A massive 84% of organizations have completely dropped the ball on redesigning jobs around artificial intelligence. It's crazy. Companies are pouring 93% of their budgets into tech, leaving just 7% for their people.
So what's the fix? It isn't just firing and hiring. It's an approach we call future-proofing.
We've got to stop chasing outside credentials. The 2026 way is all about building internal, adaptable learning agility.
Why? Because AI handles the basics now. Entry-level jobs suddenly require serious technological fluency from day one.
You really need to cultivate a co-pilot culture where humans and machines team up to supercharge productivity. This is super critical as we hit the agentic AI era, where systems execute tasks without waiting for prompts.
Pretty soon, your team will basically become managers overseeing AI tools in these wild new hybrid human-agent teams.
But hold on, don't forget this. Deep, nuanced, contextual knowledge is still locked securely inside your human workers' heads.
So, with 76% of leaders facing critical skills gaps, how do we actually retain that context while evolving?
Enter the internal gig economy. You literally let your folks tackle short-term internal projects to dynamically upskill themselves.
And hey, when you do hire externally, definitely pivot to skills-based hiring to find real, adaptable problem solvers. Honestly, forget the traditional four-year degree. The future belongs to the highly adaptable, skills-focused new-collar worker. Your action plan, audit your AI usage, hire for pure skills, and kick off those internal gigs today. Because if you invest heavily in upskilling, the ultimate payoff is absolutely unmatched organizational agility. Sure, AI crunches data way faster, but emotional intelligence and complex trust building, those remain uniquely human superpowers.
Like this quote nails it. Clients still absolutely demand a trustworthy human face for high-stakes, complex life decisions.
So we really need to stop throwing cash at silicon while literally starving our human workforce of development.
Here's the real question. When that next massive wave of disruption hits, will your workforce be ready to pivot?
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unlocking the 2026 Strategic Finance Toolkit for Advanced Performance Management. Let's go. Okay, let's dive into this. Is your strategy 2026 ready? And how do numbers actually drive human behavior? First up, data and ESG. You see, modern strategy totally starts with these massive macro environmental shifts. Massive, real-time big data changes everything. We're tracking volume, velocity, variety, and crucially, veracity. Veracity, that's data quality, enables predictive performance. It predicts customer demand and churn instead of just looking backward. This ties into ESG. Integrated thinking makes environmental, social, and governance goals core pillars driving actual profit. Now, what's really interesting here is how AI data centers physically link big data demands to massive energy costs. Moving on to agile budgets and projects. So, transitioning from macro data, how do we actually execute internally? Rigid annual budgets? Yeah, they're dead. Beyond budgeting relies on rolling forecasts and adaptive KPIs to stay competitive. Ditching those fixed targets stops political behavior, kills budgetary slack, and really encourages continuous improvement. Tracking these agile projects, earned value management, or EVM, is the absolute ultimate tool to measure real value. Every single project manager needs to obsess over 3 core metrics: planned value, earned value, and actual cost. Combining these reveals crucial variances. You instantly see if you're bleeding cash or falling way behind schedule. Next up, profitability and quality metrics. Let's pivot slightly and optimize the actual value of these projects. Let's see how this builds. Cost of quality has 4 categories: prevention, appraisal, internal failures, and external failures. Spending early on prevention, like training, stops absolutely devastating external failures later, like lawsuits and reputation loss. Customer profitability analysis reveals a pretty harsh truth. Top-line revenue definitely doesn't always equal actual bottom-line profit. Hidden costs, like excessive support and delivery, drag down profits. Honestly, not all customers are worth keeping. Finally, the human element. Because, well, all these strategic models rely entirely on actual human execution. So, what happens when poorly designed executive incentives completely misalign with your long-term corporate strategy? You get toxic behavior. Unrealistic financial targets literally breed gaming, smoothing, short-termism, and massive budgetary slack. So, the crucial point is the controllability principle. Only evaluate managers on costs they can actually influence. To fix this, use balanced scorecards and long-term incentives to perfectly align manager behavior with shareholder wealth. Challenge yourself to audit your systems. Are your performance metrics inspiring real innovation or just inviting manipulation? Design measures that matter.
Align with strategy. Manage behavior. Will your 2026 systems actually pass the test?
Welcome to This Explainer. We're diving into a massive 2026 creator economy shift that's killing traditional newsletters. Seriously, if you're still treating Substack like just a boring email tool, you're literally bleeding reach. Fighting in crowded inboxes is a totally losing battle. It's no wonder your open rates are flatlining.
See, Substack has quietly morphed into a massive, standalone social platform built specifically for deep readers.
Hootsuite's 2026 report actually backs this up, comparing these new interactive profiles straight to Threads or Blue Sky. It's a whole new ecosystem now. We're talking native feeds, direct inboxes, and even live streaming. And it's huge business, guys. It's driven over $450 million in writer revenue. So, stop wasting hours pushing Twitter followers to landing pages. That old hustle has way too much friction. Instead, publishing right to the native feed effortlessly grabs high-intent subscribers who are already on the app. Because people don't follow generic accounts, they follow creators who make them feel understood in focused micro-communities. Here's your game plan. Ditch the siloed newsletter thinking, set up your profile, and start publishing natively today.
The creators scaling the fastest aren't just guessing. They're actually listening and adapting to this massive shift.
So, are you going to keep fighting those brutal external algorithms or build your native community today?
Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're breaking down the 4 massive forces completely reshaping finance in 2026.
Get ready for a shock. Right now, a measly 14% of U.S. credit actually comes from traditional banks.
Crazy, right? Tighter rules and rigid standards are pushing corporate funding way out of those traditional banking channels. This brilliantly illustrates the gap. Private credit and alternative sources are stepping up fast to fill the void.
We're talking about a mind-blowing expansion here. It's an addressable private credit market worth $41 trillion.
Look at this sharp contrast. Slow, restricted traditional banks versus the fast, super agile funding from private credit.
This huge need for liquidity just drove secondary private market trading to a record $226 billion.
So how on earth do financial firms actually process this sudden, massive explosion of complex data?
Enter Agentic AI. It's a total game changer, working autonomously 24/7 to catch anomalies and manage complex data.
So the crucial point here? We're trading slow, manual spreadsheets for proactive, AI-driven anomaly detection.
The efficiency gains are literally massive. This cuts the time needed to prep CFO narratives by over 60%. But hey, fast tech needs fast people. You need incredibly agile human talent to thrive in this landscape. That means a modern, scalable model. We're talking a smart blend of permanent hires, contractors, and fractional workers. Fractional executives are awesome for this. They give you embedded, top-tier expertise without the permanent headcount costs. Now, with all this going on, how do you actually cut through the noise and communicate your insights?
The secret is emotional finance. It's the vital skill of turning dry numbers into gripping, human-centric stories.
You've got to drop the intimidating jargon. Frame those abstract concepts around real-life client goals instead.
When you blend a human narrative with technical precision, you get incredibly powerful and authoritative financial storytelling.
And this isn't just fluff. Using personalized reporting like this actually boosts lead conversions by a massive 30%.
So, private credit, agent AI, fractional talent, and financial storytelling. These 4 solutions are completely redefining our economy. So I'll leave you with this. Are you just analyzing the numbers, or are you leading the future?
Let's jump straight into the 2026 playbook for building a massively profitable finance YouTube channel. Finance content earns absolutely massive RPMs right now. It's practically printing money for creators.
Advertisers pay a huge premium to reach audiences here. It completely dwarfs standard gaming channel rates. Plus, they monetize way beyond just ads. Think lead magnets, courses, and lucrative affiliate partnerships. But honestly, the best part? You can build this whole financial media empire completely faceless. Channels like ALUX are pulling millions of views using nothing but voiceovers, B-roll, and solid research. To start, just pick a specific sub-niche, grab some stock footage, and use AI voiceovers. But to actually get those lucrative views, you've got to master engineering the perfect click. Your thumbnails need one clear promise: short text overlays and big numbers showing financial progress.
Creators like Nisha totally nail this. They use strong emotional hooks to instantly build viewer trust. So, whether you go highly visual or ultra clear, always design around one specific, scannable outcome. All right, you got the click. Now your true unfair advantage becomes what's called retention engineering. Enter the Sticky 5 framework. This is your structural blueprint to completely hook viewer attention. First up, the hook. Your opening second must spark instant curiosity and visually align perfectly. Use proven templates like a curiosity loop or a contrarian claim to reel them right in.
Next is the 3-second rule. Keep a hyper-fast pace by changing visuals every few seconds.
Then, the progress principle. Cut the fluff. The story always needs to feel like it's advancing. Finally, deliver the big payoff. Then, end immediately. You want to maximize those crucial rewatch metrics. Now for shorts, rely on fast-paced formats like before and after transformations or busting a common financial myth. For long form, gripping stories rule. Things like corporate autopsies or personal resilience trigger huge emotional engagement. A quick tip, target video lengths just over 8 minutes. That unlocks those lucrative mid-roll ads. So what does a data-backed upload schedule actually look like for rapid channel growth? Aim for 1 long form and up to 5 shorts weekly, hitting strict retention targets for both. The playbook is right here. Are you ready to build your own finance media empire?
Welcome! Today we're exploring the totally bizarre dual reality that's defining 2026.
So ask yourself, are we living inside a calculated spreadsheet or a chaotic thriller?
Here's the agenda: AI and agility, the quest for ROI, financial accuracy, and escaping the data.
Right now, professionals are feeling the squeeze. 60% of PR teams cite a crazy, shifting landscape.
To cope, a massive 91% use generative AI, mostly for brainstorming and writing.
But get this agility gap. Execs think they're moving fast, but only 14% of employees agree. The real culprits holding us back? Clunky team structures and those agonizingly slow approval processes.
It's a huge disconnect. Execs obsess over revenue and ROI, while the front lines just wants brand awareness. Finance teams feel it too, especially when trying to calculate an accurate weighted average cost of capital. Ever struggled to believe the whack a client hands you? Verifying subjective data is a total headache. Common mistakes include relying on outdated historical data or confusing loan rates with actual business risk. Here's the key. Fair value actually requires objective third-party lending rates, not just internal corporate guesswork. So, after a long day of optimizing and obsessing over ROI, how do we actually escape? We dive straight into pure chaos. The hottest trends are twisted thrillers, messy romance, and alternate realities. We literally trade our boring spreadsheets for split-second thriller decisions. Goodbye calculated logic. Just look at hits like Dear Debbie. It's all about lies, revenge, and completely shattered lives. Or take Yesteryear, where a perfectly curated influencer wakes up in the brutal, unoptimized reality of 1805. But here's the crazy twist. Despite all this data, the most in-demand skill for 2026? Human storytelling. It's a wild paradox. We have a hyper-analytical work life balanced by deeply emotional, messy, personal escapism. So I'll leave you with this. As AI perfectly optimizes our work, will our craving for drama only grow?
Welcome to The Explainer. We're looking at how 2026 finance is shifting from basic record keeping to pure strategic advisory. Let's jump right in. Are your rigid performance metrics actually driving toxic behavior and destroying company value? Instead of growth, strict targets often breed dysfunction, like gaming bonuses, hoarding budgets, or recklessly cutting R&D. The structural fix here is beyond budgeting. We ditch those rigid annual contracts for highly adaptive rolling forecasts. So resources are handed out dynamically based on actual need. This completely kills the urge to pad budgets. To fuel this agility, big data delivers the volume, velocity, variety, and veracity we need for real-time pivots. But how do we actually apply this data? Well, are all your clients actually making you money? Customer profitability analysis strips away hidden delivery and support costs to reveal your actual, true profit margins. It's crazy, but a massive revenue client could secretly be a total financial drain if service costs are high. Shifting internally. Managing the cost of quality means balancing prevention, appraisal, and failure expenses. The golden rule here? Heavy investment in prevention is always cheaper than dealing with a devastating external failure. Now, to keep strategic projects on track, Earned Value Management, or EVM, brings strict objective control. By simply comparing your earned value against actual costs and planned value, you'll instantly spot hidden budget overruns. Why do these tools matter? Because ACCA's 2026 framework demands a massive leap from compliance to strategic advisory. So what's the absolute ultimate long-term value driver in modern forward-thinking corporate reporting? It's ESG. Environmental, social, and governance issues aren't just side projects anymore. They are totally mainstream priorities. Take AI, for example. The operational cost of running a massive new data center is absolutely mind-blowing. Electricity is a huge expense. This highlights exactly why efficient, low-carbon power access is a critical ESG focus. Measuring ESG means tracking hard numbers, like carbon emissions, waste recycling rates, and strict board diversity metrics. Integrated thinking is the key here. You've got to link that ESG performance directly to your financial strategy. Just remember this critical advice. Design measures that actually matter and align them perfectly with your strategy. So I'll leave you with this. Is your performance measurement system built for the past or the future? The ACCA exams are completely changing in 2027, so let's jump right into this urgent explainer. The sheer scale of this upcoming redesign is massive. It literally changes how you'll earn your entire qualification. The biggest shocker, the total number of required exams is officially dropping from 13 down to just 11. But hold on, while the actual exams decrease, brand new mandatory essential employability modules are being added in. These interactive modules, they're going to rigorously test your real-world workplace skills, specifically focusing on data science and sustainability. So your journey now flows through 3 totally streamlined levels: knowledge, expertise, and finally, strategic professional. Across all these levels, you'll see the core curriculum shifting heavily toward AI, data science, and sustainability. At that final tier, you'll take S1, S2, and now, just one single options exam. You can actually choose to specialize entirely in data analytics with the brand new SDS options exam. Imagine spending 3 years memorizing old accounting standards, only to find out you're missing essential new qualifications. Suddenly, your dream employer strictly requires an ESG reporting certification that you never even studied for. Crazy, right? Well, this overhaul isn't happening overnight. It builds gradually toward those first redesigned exams in September 2027. Now, don't panic. Your existing achievements are totally safe. You won't ever need to repeat a past exam. However, you really need to use the official ACCA transition tool to map out your specific conversion path. You must map out your exam route now. Download the new 2027 syllabus changes today to secure your transition path. Which leaves us with one final, absolutely critical question. Will your current accounting skills actually survive 2027? Let's dive right into the ultimate traffic paradox that's literally driving digital marketers crazy today. Picture this. Your website ranks #1 on Google, but you're still losing all your traffic. Why? Well, publishers expect traffic from traditional search engines to plummet by up to 43% very soon. Here's the thing. Search is transitioning from plain blue links into conversational AI answer engines. This huge shift means you absolutely need to know about AEO, or answer engine optimization. Crazy enough, nearly 2/3 of shoppers are already asking AI models for research over traditional searching. Soon, bots and AI agents will make up 2/3 of all global traffic, deciding brand visibility. So what's the takeaway? You've got to start treating the AI as your primary audience. You write a massive 3,000-word post stuffed with keywords, but a competitor's concise definition gets quoted instead. Keyword stuffing is completely dead. AI systems literally just want explicit, well-structured facts to cite. The traffic isn't totally gone. It's just redistributed. Win those direct citations, and you win the clicks. Okay, so how do we actually fix this? Here are the exact steps to optimize. You've got to format your content for AI extraction with super clear bulleted summaries. Make parsing effortless. Seriously, ditch the vague marketing fluff. Just give direct, structured answers to real questions people ask. Sure, use AI to help format, but absolutely never outsource your own thinking and market judgment. So check your strategy today. If an AI agent summarized your website right now, what would it say?
Welcome to This Explainer. Let's see how the new Silicon workforce is totally revolutionizing corporate finance. Bad data and manual errors cost organizations a staggering $15 million every single year. Ouch. So why on earth are so many finance teams still stuck doing outdated, error-prone manual entry? Enter agentic AI. It completely blows past basic automation, working totally independently to conquer complex financial tasks. Think autonomous document intake, crazy smart data extraction, and instantly flagging any weird exceptions for you. Heavy-duty documents, like tax records and loans, are instantly parsed and verified, zero human hands required. We're jumping from sluggish manual bookkeeping that takes days to lightning-fast exception management in mere minutes. In fact, these agentic systems crush variance analysis time, dropping it by a massive 80%. Those brutal week-long financial closes, they're now completely compressed down into just a single afternoon. So with AI running the show autonomously, you're probably wondering, what exactly is our job now? We become the human in the loop. Your absolute focus shifts strictly to managing those flagged exceptions and strategic oversight. The insight becomes your actual product. You get to trade tedious data entry for high-level strategic advisory. No wonder finance job postings demanding AI skills have rapidly surged to 31% today. We're skyrocketing from basic AI assistants right now to systems holding full transactional authority by 2026. It's time to ditch being a routine spreadsheet dweller and step up as a strategic financial storyteller. A model is really just a calculator. By wrapping a compelling story around it, human judgment shines. So, looking ahead to 2026, are you going to be a spreadsheet dweller or a strategic storyteller?
Welcome to This Explainer. Let's dive right into something wild happening in the boardroom.
We gotta ask right off the bat, is artificial intelligence literally your new boss?
Yup, the Silicon workforce is here. AI agents are sitting alongside humans in org charts.
We're talking about agentic AI. These smart systems make independent decisions without needing permission.
Traditional AI waits for a prompt, right? But agentic AI plans and executes totally independently.
It's a massive shift. We're moving from just storing data to systems actually taking action. To illustrate, let's see how this exact shift is unfolding right now in human resources.
Agentic AI can independently source, contact, screen, and rank candidates before you even blink.
Crazy enough, organizations expect to automate over 50% of middle management tasks very soon.
So the big question, what does this actually mean for you and your career?
You gotta shift from manual tasks to strategic oversight. You are becoming an agent boss. You become the human in the loop, providing the essential empathy and professional judgment that AI lacks. This means creating clear governance policies and training your team on true algorithmic accountability. You need a co-pilot culture. Use AI to massively enhance human capabilities, not replace them. So, is your organization ready to hire its first Silicon worker? Think about that. Forget chatbots. We're entering the era of agentic commerce, where AI actually executes financial transactions entirely on its own. Imagine a world where your AI doesn't just recommend products, it literally has the authority to buy them. Get this, by 2030, 15 to 25% of US e-commerce will be driven completely by autonomous AI. That's agentic commerce, a massive shift from AI just assisting us to wielding real, autonomous, transactional authority. Major banks are already in. Goldman Sachs and Lloyds use digital coworkers to handle routine trades and compliance. Since traditional banking is super slow, how exactly are these AI agents moving money around so instantly? Meet the stablecoin stack. To function autonomously, AI needs programmable, instant internet money running right on digital rails. Layer 1 provides programmable cash, and today stablecoins boast a staggering $308 billion market cap.
Then, Layer 2 handles settlement, processing an insane $970 billion in monthly volume for instant transactions.
Layer 3 builds the apps, totally setting the stage for Layer 4, where AI agents finally transact independently.
Legacy banking relies on slow, step-by-step instructions, but agentic stablecoin rails, they enable instant, intent-based transactions.
Smart contract primitives like X402 let AI agents instantly pay each other for data. No invoices needed.
Venture capital is all over this. AI-enabled fintechs are capturing massive valuation premiums in late-stage funding.
B2B applications will definitely see the fastest adoption, operating within structured, clearly regulated agreements like automated procurement. So practically speaking, what does a day in the life of a financial AI agent actually look like? Well, they continuously monitor metrics, autonomously detect anomalies, investigate root causes, and instantly generate executive commentary. The result is massive efficiency gains. AI-powered analytics can slash variance analysis time by up to 80%. For instance, companies using platforms like Brex are literally closing their books 5 days faster than before.
But here's the critical challenge. Who is actually liable when an autonomous agent executes a bad contract? You need strict vendor indemnification, mandatory human oversight, and firm-wide policies to safely manage this silicon workforce.
So AI fluency is the new baseline. We all have to evolve into agent bosses, managing these autonomous systems.
Think about it. If money becomes internet packets, the internet doesn't just support the financial system, it becomes it.
This completely transforms global commerce. So tell me, is your business ready to sell to a silicon workforce?
Welcome to This Explainer. Forget basic email blasts. Let's dive into the 2026 marketing tech revolution, guys. Is your personalization secretly annoying your customers? Because slapping a first name on mass emails actually pushes buyers away. Honestly, that shallow approach creates a massive disconnect. A generic greeting just isn't enough for consumers anymore. This outdated batch and blast method, it's causing a literal 80% attention churn crisis across the entire industry. And the financial cost is absolutely staggering. We're talking about a $500 billion black hole called ad waste. To fix this, 2026 brings us agentic marketing. This goes way beyond passive automation to active, independent AI. The real game changer here is the brand twin. It's an AI acting as a personal advocate for every buyer. These agents aren't just static bots. They continuously learn from context to perfectly optimize proactive engagement for you. Picture this. Your mass discount blast gets ignored, while a competitor's brand twin proactively reserves a highly related item. That right there is true N=1 personalization. Your customer finally feels completely, uniquely understood. Crazy enough, soon your sell-side brand twin will negotiate directly with your customer's very own buy-side AI agent. Why? Because by 2030, AI agents are projected to handle up to 25% of US e-commerce purchases. So here's your playbook. Stop blasting your entire list today and start researching agentic customer models instead. As experts predict, we're marketing to a future where autonomous agents are absolutely going to outnumber us humans online. So ask yourself, when AI is doing the shopping, will your brand even be visible to them?
Welcome to The Explainer. Let's dive into the 2026 shift to an always-on treasury and why it matters. Get this. Manual spreadsheet errors cause poor data quality that costs companies an average of $15 million every year.
Your team manages millions, right? But making high-stakes decisions based on weeks-old, stale data is just incredibly dangerous.
The fix? The always-on treasury. It totally reimagines liquidity management by embedding API automation straight into your ERP platforms. Direct bank connectivity links right into your systems. Suddenly, you're turning static numbers into real-time financial action. With this setup, you instantly see live balances and can dynamically forecast cross-border liquidity without a second thought. Picture this. You're spending all weekend manually building cash flow spreadsheets while your competitor operates effortlessly in real time. Their always-on treasury dynamically updates their global liquidity position the very instant a payment actually clears. Crazy enough, 60% of finance teams still rely on manual reconciliation. They are falling dangerously behind the curve.
Legacy spreadsheets create massive blind spots. They delay crucial insights when market assumptions are changing weekly, not quarterly.
So real-time payments and instant settlements, they aren't optional anymore. They are absolute must-haves for true borderless liquidity.
By fully embracing these network integrations, you totally slash your administrative load, turning days of grunt work into hours.
Here's the takeaway. Stop relying on static, backward-looking spreadsheets to make your high-stakes corporate finance decisions. Take action. Explore just one embedded finance API today that connects your ERP directly to your bank. Will you secure real-time cash visibility or just let your competitors design the financial disruption of 2026?
Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Anime is literally the weirdest new way to build wealth online today. You've got 2 seconds before a viewer clicks away. You absolutely need a massive pattern interrupt to hook them. The payoff? This highly profitable, totally faceless niche commands RPMs up to $15 per 1,000 views. That's revenue per mil, by the way. It's the actual cash you pocket per 1,000 views. Seriously massive. Normal entertainment pays out peanuts, but mixing anime with financial discipline, that grabs premium advertisers right away. The secret sauce? Mashing up popular animated clips with discipline strategies to capture a massive crossover audience. Because when a voiceover preaches never give up during an epic, intense anime scene, it just hits differently. Think about it. You're definitely going to scroll right past some generic motivational speaker in a boring suit, right? But you'll totally stop to watch an anime battle that perfectly explains the psychology of overcoming procrastination. This weirdly familiar approach easily captures that highly coveted 18 to 30 demographic for super long watch sessions. So here's the big question. Why exactly does this specific visual metaphor keep us completely glued to the screen? Retention velocity. Anime brings intense emotional hooks that plain old stock footage literally can never match. And honestly, here's the absolute best part. You don't ever need to show your face to build this audience. Here's your blueprint. Draft a short script today combining a fictional character's struggle with a practical financial lesson. You can completely execute this simple, highly scalable production system using AI without ever leaving your desk. Just keep your editing fast, change up the visuals every few seconds to lock in that high retention. So, what fictional hero is going to teach your first masterclass on financial discipline? Your audience is waiting.
Let's dive into this explainer. Here's why proper asset allocation is absolutely your ultimate wealth builder. Listen, picking the perfect stock won't save your retirement. You've got to stop chasing those individual stock tips. With trading apps feeling like literal casinos lately, ask yourself, are you actually investing or just gambling? Gambling brings massive unsystematic risk. That's the very real danger of one single sector totally wiping you out. You can lose absolutely everything when one sector crashes, like we've seen with those sudden tech market wipeouts. Instead, take Charlie Munger's advice. Be a patient spear fisherman who mostly stands there doing absolutely nothing.
Even Warren Buffett said to put 90% of his wife's estate into a simple, boring index fund.
Why? Because a staggering 90% of your overall performance is driven entirely by your asset allocation.
A boring investor survives perfectly intact by just spreading their money around into a 50-30-20 portfolio mix.
And honestly, exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, are the absolute best wrapper to quickly build this exact allocation. So the diversified, patient spear fisherman is always going to outlast and beat that hyperactive casino gambler.
Ready to stop gambling and lock down your future? Go ahead and download my study notes today.
Because think about it. If your favorite stock crashes tomorrow, is your portfolio actually resilient enough to survive?
Welcome to This Explainer. Let's dive right into how blockchain is completely revolutionizing your investment portfolio.
Ever wanted to own a skyscraper? Normally, high-yield assets like that are totally out of reach.
See, there's this massive, frustrating gap between elite Wall Street insiders and everyday retail investors.
But guess what? Crypto and traditional finance are colliding, democratizing access through a massive technological shift.
It all comes down to tokenization. That's turning physical assets into digital, fractional shares on-chain.
The process? Pretty simple. You take a physical asset, mint digital tokens, and sell fractional shares.
This gives you 24/7 global trading, near real-time settlement, and literally lets you invest with pennies.
And it's not just crypto startups. Huge legacy banks like JP Morgan are already building this.
Like BlackRock says, traditional finance and decentralized crypto are literally building a bridge toward each other.
This isn't just theory, guys. Tokenized financial assets exploded to nearly $19 billion recently.
We're finally ditching those rigid, decades-old banking systems for a programmable, borderless network architecture.
Get this. By 2030, analysts project this tokenized market cap will hit a staggering $2 trillion.
meaning everything from mutual funds to alternative loans will be sliced up and traded as tokens.
The internet won't just support the financial system anymore. It will literally become the financial system.
With these previously exclusive assets now available to regular investors, are you ready for the blockchain?
Well, hello there. I'm Gemini.
Look, stop settling for 8% returns.
You've got to find yourself a multi-bagger. Index funds are safe, sure, but scalable microcaps can literally multiply your wealth tenfold in just a few years.
But hey, here's the catch. You absolutely must do deep fundamental analysis to uncover a company's true intrinsic value. Want to master this? Download my finance notes to pass.
Welcome to this explainer. Let's see how AI instantly turns raw financial data into strategic executive summaries.
So be honest, when does FP&A give you actual panic attacks? Month-end reporting is literally the worst.
Like this user said, the corporate grind peaks during month ends, budget season, and those endless partner meetings.
You know, finance analysts waste up to 60% of their week just formatting routine data.
Enter the Context Reasoning Output Framework. It's an AI lifeboat that crushes manual variance commentary and saves you hours. Today, we're zeroing in on a prompt that instantly translates messy department cost walks into clear summaries. Yep, using this AI setup can literally shrink your variance analysis time by a massive 80%.
Deloitte has 3 golden rules for prompting. Specify your audience, paste actual numbers, and never ask for math.
First up, defining your exact audience, like a CFO versus a VP, is crucial to avoid generic fluff.
Second, always run the numbers in Excel first. AI is strictly for crafting narrative, not doing arithmetic.
Then apply Deloitte's rule of 3, details, dialogue, and drama. This builds vivid narratives that leaders actually remember.
Just look at how AI flips robotic jargon into an executive story with radical clarity and actionable solutions. Also, always lead with the headline. Give your busy executives the actionable answer right out of the gate.
This workflow completely levels you up, taking you from a backward-looking reporter to a forward-looking strategic advisor. Because ultimately, a model is just a calculator until you wrap a compelling story around it. What's yours?
Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're exposing a totally taboo corporate secret, intentional budget padding. Okay, let's dive into this. Why do managers actually lie and intentionally manipulate their numbers? Honestly, it usually comes down to self-interest, chasing performance bonuses, or just plain fearing future budget cuts.
We call this budgetary slack. It's when you deliberately pad the numbers to create super easy targets. When incentives don't match the strategy, it causes terrible resource allocation and really drains company growth.
For example, imagine your marketing department asks for a $50,000 budget. And this brilliantly illustrates the problem. They ask for 50 grand, but it really only costs 30.
That massive $20,000 gap, that creates hidden, totally unused capacity right inside the department.
That trapped 20 grand could have funded new growth, but instead, it literally just sits there.
So the crucial point is, how do we actually fix this and eliminate all that slack?
Enter zero-based budgeting. This philosophy forces absolute transparency. You have to justify every single expense from scratch. Let's see how this builds. Incremental budgeting just repeats old mistakes, but ZBB brings ruthless precision.
Now, what's really interesting here is that while it takes longer, starting from zero completely destroys hidden capacity.
Sure, it requires intense focus and discipline from finance leaders, but it drives massive, measurable value.
I'll leave you with this. Does your traditional budget actually motivate your team, or just reward them for lying?
Let's dive into the single biggest mistake that's literally causing students to fail audit and assurance. It's crazy, but half of all exam scripts lose marks by mixing up audit and business risks. This exact confusion is why global pass rates stubbornly hover between just 39 and 44%.
Examiners see this trap constantly. Students keep describing risks to the company instead of the auditor.
There's a hard line between everyday commercial commentary and the financial statement risks examiners actually demand.
The golden rule? If your sentence doesn't end in an account balance and an assertion, you score 0.
You might write a beautiful paragraph about a competitor causing lost revenue, but you'll get 0 marks.
Why? Because you didn't mention specific financial impacts, like inventory valuation or receivables being overstated. So use this exact 5-step skeleton structure. It's an absolute must to score max marks here.
Immediately drop vague phrases like may decline. Honestly, they're just a guaranteed 0 on your exam.
Instead, use direct financial statement impacts. That is exactly what the examiner is looking for.
Always link risks directly to financial lines. Your mandate right now? Memorize these 7 critical assertions today. So here's my challenge. Can you attach an assertion to any account in under 2 seconds? Get practicing.
Let's dive right into this explainer on a massive 2026 HR nightmare, the AI hiring illusion. Imagine you just hired the perfect candidate. Their resume is absolutely flawless, literally ticking every box. But what if their skills are completely fake? Welcome to the wild world of hiring in 2026. Career catfishing is surging right now. Candidates are using AI tools to instantly generate flawless fake resumes. They're leveraging agentic AI and LLMs to craft these incredibly polished, too-perfect professional personas. The scale is alarming. A recent poll actually shows 13% of workers admit to career catfishing. Even worse, a whopping 79% of folks say they've been on the receiving end of this deception. You hire a total match only to realize they literally used an AI agent to pass the interview. This leads to shift shock, a massive, jarring disconnect between their promised skills and actual capabilities. To survive, organizations absolutely must move from credential-first thinking to demanding real, verifiable capabilities. The best defense? You've got to integrate a mandatory 15-minute paid skills simulation into your hiring workflow. Combine that with other actionable strategies, like completely removing unnecessary degree requirements to find real talent. While AI is everywhere, actually verifying in real-life human skills is the ultimate premium in 2026. So ask yourself, is your organization evaluating demonstrable skills or just rating a well-programmed AI agent?
Welcome to this explainer. Let's dive right into coffee badging, the secret rebellion happening inside your office.
Here's the harsh truth. Your strict return-to-office mandates, yeah, they're actively making your employees resent you.
You probably think forced RTO builds culture, right? Nope. It actually breeds passive-aggressive defiance, or revenge RTO. Why? Because employees see right through it. They view these mandates as micromanagement totally disguised as culture building. The financial cost is massive too. Companies enforcing these rigid mandates suffer 13% higher annual turnover.
So this forced attendance has birthed a massive 2026 workplace epidemic. It's simply known as coffee badging.
It drives task masking. A crazy 58% of workers literally fake productivity to satisfy corporate surveillance.
They're also embracing hushed hybrid, a quiet rebellion where they just take that flexibility without asking permission.
Ironically, you're probably spending thousands on free lunches and perks to lure them back to their desks. But here's the absurd reality of their routine. They scan at 9, grab coffee, and vanish by 10.
The kicker? It's not the slackers doing this. It's actually your top performers leveraging their options and autonomy.
If your culture rewards optics over outcomes, you just cultivate productivity theater instead of actual, measurable business results.
The fix is crystal clear. You need to transition to a results-only work environment today to rebuild trust. Seriously, stop obsessing over inputs like badge swipes. Start managing based on the actual value your team delivers. Co-design hybrid norms with your team, balance trust with real accountability, and fix that broken work environment. I'll leave you with this final thought. Are you paying for mere presence or paying for actual performance? Okay, welcome to this explainer. Look, your highly polished corporate content, it's literally driving your customers away. We've hit total perfection fatigue. Audiences today just instantly reject those overly scripted, totally flawless corporate clips.
So why is this happening? Well, AI mass produces perfection now, making all that polish feel super cheap and fake. People are absolutely exhausted by algorithmic perfection. They're starving for something real, something messy and completely honest.
The fix here is connectioneering. It's community-first storytelling that builds common ground by just reflecting real-life imperfections. To do this, you need human glitches. Think of these little imperfections as your proof of life online. Which totally makes sense, right? Over half of social media users are wary of undisclosed AI-generated content.
People crave realness. They want true vulnerability, not some faceless, heavily edited corporate robot.
Imagine dropping 10 grand on a flawless commercial, only to get absolutely zero engagement. Ouch!
Why zero? No relatable hook. Meanwhile, a raw, totally unedited smartphone video organically goes completely viral. That raw video wins because it instantly makes the viewer feel understood, easily outperforming any corporate logo.
To replicate this, you must strictly follow the HEIT framework. It forces direct, highly relatable storytelling.
You hook them instantly, explain the core issue, illustrate with a concrete example, and teach a solution. Stop leading with boring product features. Start with a visceral, relatable crisis that makes your audience actually care.
So here's your takeaway. Stop aiming for perfection. Today, just share a story about a simple, relatable struggle. Honestly, it should only take you 45 minutes total to script, shoot, and post using this framework.
I'll leave you with this. What human glitch are you hiding today that your audience desperately wants to see?
Let's jump right into this explainer. Imagine you just offered your absolute best junior analyst a massive raise. And you throw in a shiny new manager title to sweeten the deal.
Their response, no thanks. Yeah, Gen Z is actively rejecting your management promotions.
It's the defining 2026 workplace trend, conscious unbossing. They're protecting their mental health instead.
So why exactly is your best young talent walking away from the traditional corporate ladder?
Basically, they see that old ladder as a one-way ticket to extreme stress and burnout. Think about that top-performing analyst again. They're closely watching how you treat current managers.
And what they see is total exhaustion. Managing a remote team today looks like instant burnout.
So they make a choice. They proactively choose their daily peace over a prestigious title. The big takeaway here? You've got to stop forcing your top talent into management roles.
Instead, redefine leadership. Focus heavily on empowerment, employee autonomy, and strictly measuring outcomes, not inputs.
Ditch the top-down hierarchy. You need to offer personalized development paths based entirely on skills. It's all about building a trust-based culture that truly respects their flexibility and personal boundaries. If not, they'll just quietly leave. So, is your company ready for the unbossed generation?
You're firing employees for using AI? Honestly, you should be promoting them instead. Let's get into it. Okay, let's dive into this. This massive contrast. It totally separates industry winners from those left permanently behind. Fast forward to 2026, top organizations aren't fighting the future. They're fully embracing what we call co-pilot culture. And this brilliantly illustrates a staggering reality. Get this. 78% of workers actually bring their own AI. They are absolutely not waiting for your approval. So-called shadow AI is already running wild inside your office. Imagine catching a junior analyst using ChatGPT for a report and then punishing them for it. Crazy, right? Meanwhile, the competitor right down the street is actively training their team to leverage those exact AI capabilities. By using AI platforms, those guys are closing their books 5 whole days faster than traditional methods. With routine stuff fully automated, the entry-level bar jumps way up. Human focus shifts entirely to strategic roles. So, the crucial point is this. You've got to stop hopelessly banning AI and start actively governing it. Let's move to and see how this builds. You can draft an acceptable use policy today using 3 steps. Proper governance actually protects client data, prevents ethical violations, and secures your ultimate competitive advantage. It's a win-win. Now, what's really interesting about this is the final question. Is your team hiding their AI use today?
Let's dive right into why sitting on idle corporate cash is a massive liability today.
Sitting on a mountain of cash, you might think hoarding all that money is playing it safe. Wrong. Persistent inflation is quietly burning it away, day by day.
You leave millions earning zero interest, while rivals use excess cash to fund their entire marketing department.
But here's the catch. Your cash gets trapped because legacy payment rails require paying days in advance.
To fix this, finance teams are shifting to an always-on treasury. This means ultimate agility.
Modern treasuries rely on 3 core pillars: real-time payments, borderless accounts, and resilient liquidity.
And look at this, 88% of financial pros say direct bank connectivity is a total game changer.
By embedding finance, you completely automate workflows and stop moving funds needlessly across borders.
So, what's the next massive evolution? We're stepping directly into blockchain tokenization.
Solutions like Connexus by JP Morgan mobilize your collateral in seconds. They make assets work way harder.
Unlike manual, traditional ownership, tokenized assets give you instant convertibility to deploy capital immediately.
Bottom line, corporate treasury must invest idle funds in high-yield debt.
That capital can flow directly into the massive $41 trillion private credit market.
The ultimate goal here is making capital radically accessible, creating real value at the speed of modern business.
Is your treasury working fast enough, or are you left behind? Download my finance notes to pass.
Welcome to today's Explainer. Look, we are unpacking a massive, fundamental shift happening in the digital marketing world right now in 2026. If your whole strategy still relies on traditional influencer marketing, well, you might want to brace yourself. We're going to confront a pretty harsh reality today, but stick with me, because by the end of this Explainer, you'll have the exact blueprint you need to turn this disruption into your absolute biggest competitive advantage. Let's get right into it. So, let me ask you a direct question, and I want you to be totally honest with yourself here. Are influencers suddenly rejecting your sponsorships? Are your emails to top-tier talent just going unanswered? Or maybe you're getting serious pushback on deals that, used to be absolute slam dunks. Listen, if you're feeling the pain of this current digital landscape, you are definitely not alone. Something fundamental has just broken in the old way of doing business.
Because here is the blunt truth. Flat fees are dead. The whole outdated paradigm of transactional, one-off influencer marketing, you know the drill, where you cut a check, they read a script, and you both walk away, that is officially over. The market has completely outgrown it. Audiences are frankly entirely fatigued by it. And honestly, more importantly, the creators themselves have evolved way past it. And we aren't just talking about some minor trend or a passing fad here. We're anchoring this disruption to a massive projection by Goldman Sachs, a $480 billion creator economy by 2027. Just think about that number for a second. $480 billion. This is a structural financial takeover. Creators are no longer just, kids with ring lights in their bedrooms. They're highly sophisticated media enterprises, and they're demanding a piece of the pie that actually reflects their true market power.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1. Monetizing ownership, not attention.
We are transitioning far away from this era of just renting attention. In the old model, brands paid flat fees to temporarily rent a creator's audience. It was basically a digital billboard model. But the 2026 era? It's entirely about monetizing ownership. Top creators are now acting as strategic operators. They know that their relationship with their community is literally their most valuable asset, and they're just no longer willing to rent it out for a quick buck. They want equity stakes, they want to be owners.
And we are seeing undeniable proof of this shift from the industry's top minds. Just listen to this insight from Courtney Brown Warren, the CMO of Kickstarter. She was featured in the 100 Ad Leaders report, and she said, in 2026, we'll see creators move strategically beyond monetizing attention toward monetizing ownership. Creators will increasingly pursue equity stakes, revenue-sharing models, and long-term roles. Right? This isn't a prediction anymore. It is the current operating manual. Creators are demanding true partnerships, and brands that refuse to adapt are quite simply going to be left talking to an empty room.
The creators who shine the absolute brightest today, the ones who truly illuminate a brand's message, they have fundamentally transformed. As industry leaders have noted, the whole creator economy isn't just about influencing anymore. The modern creator is the media channel, the creative agency, and the entertainment franchise, all wrapped into one single entity. They're basically human-fronted ventures, filling in all the gaps left behind by traditional, slow-moving creative agencies. Which leads us to what we call the new creator mindset. So why are they acting this way? Well, because today's audiences easily sniff out fake, inauthentic endorsements. I mean, they spot it a mile away. The timestamp of a live stream, or that raw, unpolished behind-the-scenes vlog. That is the new signal of trust. And to protect that profound trust, creators are absolutely rejecting scripted, low-conviction ads. Instead, they're actively seeking deep co-creation and real narrative alignment. They are stepping up as equity partners in consumer brands so they can supply structured, genuinely trustworthy signals to their micro-communities. They aren't just selling your product anymore. They are literally staking their personal reputation on your business.
And this brilliantly illustrates Section 2, the equity stake ultimatum.
Let's put you directly into a visceral, real-world scenario. Imagine you've got a massive new product launch coming up. You go to a huge creator, someone who perfectly, naturally aligns with your target demographic. You offer them $10,000 for a single, dedicated shout-out. It's a really generous flat fee, but they reject it. Why? Because your biggest competitor just swooped in and offered them a 2% equity stake and a long-term strategic role in product development.
Ouch. Your competitor didn't just buy an ad. They bought the creator's loyalty, their brain power, and their fiercely dedicated community. You just lost the market's absolute best voice simply because you were treating them like a billboard instead of a business partner. The math here makes the pain of losing that top talent incredibly clear. With a one-off flat fee ad, the creator's conviction is super low. It's scripted, it's highly transactional. Audience trust, totally fleeting. They know an ad when they see it. And your long-term ROI yields seriously diminishing returns. But when you look at an equity-based partnership, the creator conviction is sky high because it's native and it's authentic. They actually own a piece of the success, and that translates directly into deep, lasting loyalty within their micro-community, which mathematically generates compounding business value over time. An integrated equity partnership doesn't just spike your website traffic for 24 hours. It builds a durable, long-term moat around your entire brand.
When we break down the actual value of a creator today, pure distribution is only 25%. In the old days, we thought distribution was basically 100% of the value. But here in 2026, the real magic, the true growth engine, happens through revenue share alignment at 40% and co-creation and strategy at 35%. You're bringing these folks in to help you figure out exactly what to sell and how to talk about it. You're not just giving them a promo link to blast out to their followers. Which brings us to Section 3, Building True Creator Partnerships. I really want you to take these 3 specific steps and apply them to your very next influencer pitch. First, stop offering flat fees and start offering a long-term revenue sharing model. Give them a real vested interest in the actual outcome. Second, integrate the creator into your product strategy. Let them watch your designers iterate. Let their community weigh in on product development. And third, fiercely align long-term incentives for both parties. Basically, when they win, you win. It's time to start treating them as the true business partners they actually are.
So the crucial point here is perfectly summarized by Evan Horowitz, the CEO of Movers Plus Shakers. He says, "Social first isn't a slogan anymore, it's an org chart." I absolutely love this quote. It really challenges us to completely centralize creators and community. They shouldn't just be some afterthought managed by a junior coordinator. They need a direct line to the CMO. Social has evolved way beyond being just a mere marketing channel. It's practically a core operating system for the entire business now. Which brings us to our final, defining question for your strategy over the next 12 months. Is your brand ready to share ownership, or will you be left paying ever-increasing premiums for fleeting, rented attention? The creators holding the keys to your target audience? Well, they've already made their choice. They are actively building empires. The only question now is whether you're going to help them build it, or just sit back and watch your competitors do it instead. Take these insights, seriously rethink your marketing infrastructure, and start building those true equity partnerships today. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Your employees are absolutely terrified of losing their jobs, and honestly, it's destroying your company's growth.
Are you popping champagne over 0% turnover this quarter?
Yeah, you might want to put that glass down.
Because that supposedly perfect retention rate? It's actually a silent killer, completely stagnating your business from the inside.
See, your team isn't exceptionally loyal. They're just totally paralyzed by the fear of losing their livelihoods. In 2026, we're calling this workplace trend job hugging. People are clinging to familiar roles purely for security.
Why? Economic anxiety, hiring freezes, and burnout. It's literally just pure workplace survival mode right now.
With voluntary quit rates hitting their lowest point since 2016, the era of lucrative job hopping is totally dead.
As Mondo reports, they stay put. But this extreme caution means they're contributing absolutely zero fresh innovation. And this creates a massive, dangerous disconnect between what leadership thinks is happening and grim reality.
You see incredible loyalty, but your employees? They feel completely paralyzed, just trying to survive the day.
This anxiety directly breeds task masking. Terrified workers simply pretend to be busy without delivering real results.
Loud typing, needless meetings, endless email scrolling, it's all carefully crafted optics with zero actual business outcomes.
The cost here is brutal. We're talking plunging productivity, burned out managers, and totally stagnant business goals.
So how do we fix this? You need to launch an internal gig economy in your company today.
Short-term gigs let your people build new skills and cross-functional experience without ever sacrificing their job security.
Just follow these 3 exact steps to rebuild agility and finally re-engage your job-hugging workforce.
Step 1. Run small, low-risk pilot programs strictly focused on innovation and building fresh capabilities.
Step 2. Use predictive people analytics to dynamically match your anxious employees to exciting new projects.
Step 3. Heavily recognize and reward these contributors. Public praise restores that crucial psychological safety they've lost.
Finally, track the data. Compare gig participants against non-participants and watch your team's innovation metrics totally transform.
So, ask yourself right now, is your team truly engaged, or are they just terrified and hugging their jobs?